Welcome to the Gus Alva Perspective, a videocast that's earmarked to embrace gratitude and abundance over the mindset of fear and scarcity. The topic today that I'd like to touch on is maybe a funny one for you. It's the topic of being a hater. And I think that we've all heard this particular term bandied about. Being a hater refers to a person who consistently expresses strong dislike or a resentment towards someone or something. And haters often engage in negative and critical behavior and frequently voice their disapproval, spreading negativity and undermining the target of their hate. The reasons that somebody might become a quote unquote hater can vary, and that may stem from personal insecurities, a feeling of jealousy, a desire for attention, or a need to elevate oneself by putting others down. Obviously, as I state all these things, you immediately pick up, wow, that's not necessarily the right way to go. But some become so as haters due to past negative experiences or feelings of dissatisfaction in their own lives. And it's really important to be able to, furrow through that and see whether that in fact is what's going on. Individuals oftentimes channel their frustrations and unhappiness by directing their negativity towards others. Now, the problem with being a hater is that it can have negative consequences, not only for the target of that individual's hatred, but also for the hater themselves. And ultimately, there's this rebound effect because constantly focusing on negativity and spreading hate can contribute towards a toxic mindset that damages relationships and it isolates that individual from others. We also note that haters, will oftentimes miss out on opportunities for personal growth and happiness because their energy is so consumed with negativity. Now, it's important to recognize that being a hater is ultimately a choice. And while everyone is entitled to their own opinions, it's crucial to express those opinions in a respectful and constructive manner rather than resorting to hate. Practicing empathy and understanding and focusing on personal growth helps individuals overcome the tendency to be a hater and foster a more positive and fulfilled mindset. Now, the individual that hates or harbors strong negative emotions towards others can have various consequences, both for the individual doing the hating and for the target of their hatred. Let me walk through some common consequences of what hating includes. The first one is emotional distress. So, hating oftentimes leads to a constant state of anger and resentment and negativity. And these emotions ultimately take a toll on the hater's mental as well as emotional well-being. This leads to increases in stress, anxiety, and even clinical depression. Now, hating also damages relationships because hating someone can strain or even sever relationships. It constantly, by expressing dislike, the individual is, spewing out criticism and negativity towards others, and that pushes other people away. That creates distance and animosity, and haters may find it difficult to maintain healthy and positive connections with other people. Third very critical area is isolation, because hating isolates individuals from social groups and communities. And when others witness or experience the negative behavior of a hater, they may choose to distance themselves to avoid being subjected to that same negativity, not knowing whether they subsequently will become that target of that hatred. This can lead to social isolation and a lack of support networks for the hater. Now, there's oftentimes going to be a miss in the opportunities for personal growth because focusing on hate consumes a significant amount of mental and emotional energy. Now, when somebody's so preoccupied with negativity, that stunts personal growth and hinders individuals from pursuing positive experiences or opportunities for self-improvement. There's also a negative impact on physical health because, as stated in other episodes, chronic hatred and anger can have detrimental effects on physical health. We basically note that increased stress levels associated with hating can contribute to problems such as elevated blood pressure, weakened immune systems, and a higher risk for cardiovascular diseases. Now, another very important facet is reinforcing a negative mindset, because hating can create a negative feedback loop in an individual's mindset. When someone's constantly focusing on the flaws and the shortcomings of others, it reinforces a pessimistic worldview. That makes it difficult to see the positive aspects of people and situations. And lastly, if you've got a limited perspective and empathy, hating, unfortunately, oftentimes involves a narrow-minded perspective that prevents individuals from understanding or empathizing with others. And this lack of empathy not only hinders personal growth, it strains relationships and perpetuates negative stereotypes, as well as biases. So, in a nutshell, hating is a harmful and unproductive behavior. Now, our gratitude mindset is one in which we should engage in positive and constructive attitudes. We should practice empathy. We should foster an understanding that might lead to healthier relationships, personal growth, and a more fulfilling life. So when you hear that term, he or she is such a hater, now you've got the full context of what being a hater might encompass. And in essence, this will remind us that we don't ever want to end up being a hater, because ultimately the venom that gets built up and spewed out ultimately spills back on the individual that is doing the hating. And so in this video cast, the important point is having an acknowledgement that not everyone will look at others in a positive manner, but the consequences associated with having a toxic type of backdrop is so detrimental that it's not necessarily worth embracing. I thank you for joining us today on the Gus Alva Perspective on this musing of what being a hater is all about.